A pen hovers over a stack of papers that promise peace and a fast exit. Ava's hand shakes. She is a night shift nurse, a mom, and she is exhausted. The clerk taps the glass. "You can sign here and be done by Friday." Ava looks at the empty chair beside her and thinks about the rent due, the soccer cleats, and the last 4 months of tension. What would you do in that moment? Would you sign to stop the storm? The fluorescent lights hum. The office smells like stale coffee and printer toner. Ava rubs a thumb over the edge of the pen. She is carrying a baggy sweatshirt and a folded school flyer. The form in front of her is thick. The font is small. The words are calm in a way her life is not. She wants quiet. She wants a clean calendar. She wants to stop feeling like every text is an alarm. This is a story about choices and price tags. No villains, no perfect heroes, just people trying to land the plane without crashing their future. And it begins with a mistake millions make, moving fast when the stakes are highest. We rush because our nervous system begs for relief. We rush because the word final sounds like medicine. But rushing with money on the line is like driving at night with the headlights off. Before we go further, a quick note. This video is education, not legal or tax advice. Laws vary by state. If you need specific guidance, talk with a licensed professional in your area. Our goal is to help you spot the potholes so you can steer around them. We'll keep language plain, we'll keep the tone humane, we'll protect privacy and dignity. Ava takes the pen. She wants quiet. She wants the arguing to stop echoing in the kitchen. She signs the settlement draft that was supposed to be simple. The relief is real. You can feel her shoulders lower as ink dries. She drops the pen like it's heavy and laughs a tired little laugh. She texts a friend. "Done. Finally." The friend sends back fireworks. The clerk smiles. The moment feels like an ending. Except relief can be expensive when the fine print holds a surprise. Small sentences can move large amounts of money. Missing words can move even more. Ava steps into the damp night air. She turns up the car heater and plays the radio. She thinks about pizza and a movie on the couch with her kid. She thinks the storm is over. She doesn't know the next wave has already started rolling toward shore. 2 weeks later, a letter arrives with the polite tone of a smoke alarm. It says a joint loan is still in both names. It says the payment is late. It says interest adjusted upward, like a small staircase that never ends. Ava reads it at the kitchen counter between a lunchbox and a math worksheet. She blinks hard and checks the settlement. She finds the line she thought would fix it. It doesn't say what she assumed. It never did. Her phone buzzes. The apartment she applied for wants proof her debts are separate. Her score just dipped, so the deposit quote rises. The leasing agent is kind but firm. He says the system changed her tier and he wishes he could override it. Ava nods, even though he can't see her. She opens the bank app. The numbers feel thinner than yesterday. The same week, the water heater makes a low, tired sound and then a sudden quiet. A cold shower at 6 a.m. is a special kind of lesson. She wraps her hair in a towel and laughs once, then cries once, then just breathes. Being an adult is wild. You can be heroic and overwhelmed in the same hour. This is how money escapes during divorce. It doesn't sprint. It slips. It slips through overlooked accounts. It slips through vague clauses. It slips through missed deadlines. It slips through choices made in a hurry when your brain is tired and your heart is loud. So here's the map Ava never got that night. The 5 most expensive mistakes Americans make, told through her turning points, and how you can avoid them before you sign a single page. We'll keep it clear. We'll keep it practical. We'll point to doors you can open right now,
Even if the process feels huge, relief is good. Informed relief is better. Let's earn it. Ava learns the credit score drop changes more than rent. Utilities ask for a higher deposit. The car insurance quote bumps a few dollars a month. A store card reduces the limit because the algorithm senses risk. None of these changes make headlines. All of them take space from the grocery budget. She scrolls the settlement again. There it is, a friendly line about debts handled as agreed between the parties. It sounded cooperative at midnight when she signed. In daylight, it sounds like nobody knows who calls the lender tomorrow. And when nobody is named, nobody calls. And the clock charges a fee for silence. Ava writes 3 sentences on a sticky note. Who pays what? How much? By when? It feels too simple. It is exactly what is missing. She places the note next to the coffee mug like a small flag planted on her own counter. Costly mistakes rarely wear neon. They wear nice fonts. They wear words like simple and soon. Tonight, we swap vague for specific. We walk through 5 traps and 5 better choices. You won't need a law degree. You will need a pen, a calendar, and the courage to slow down. You have options. Mistake number 1, rushing to sign without the full picture. Ava wanted off the roller coaster. She skimmed. She trusted because trusting felt easier than reading 40 pages. She thought the court would fill in the blanks. Courts don't fill blanks. Blanks become bills. When your brain is tired, it wants short paths. Short paths are great for groceries, not for long paperwork. What gets missed? Full disclosure. That means listing every account, debt, card, loan, retirement plan, stock grant, subscription, and recurring bill. Not just the big stuff. The gym membership on auto draft, the warehouse club renewal, the streaming bundle, the family phone plan with 4 lines and the tablet nobody uses. The card opened for a 10% discount 2 summers ago. If it takes money out of someone's pocket, it belongs on a spreadsheet. A rushed settlement also misses titles and logins. Who holds the car title? Who has the health portal login? Which email the mortgage company uses? Which password guards the cloud photo account with 10 years of birthdays? You are not just dividing things, you are dividing access to things. Another trap is vague language. Words like reasonable, later, or to be discussed look friendly. They invite arguments, and arguments invite invoices. Specific beats vague. Exact amounts, dates, who pays, which account the payment comes from, and what happens if income changes. Ava's fix began with a pause. She asked for a complete list of accounts. She printed statements, and she made 3 columns: account, owner now, owner after, and she added a 4th, next action. She read the sheet out loud to a friend. If a sentence couldn't be explained in under 10 seconds, it got rewritten. Ava gathered the last 3 statements for each account. She asked for payoff letters on the car and the joint loan. She printed the health plan summary with deductibles and renewal date. She circled the daycare draft day. She wrote the property tax month in big letters. She even listed the pet's microchip subscription. She asked for a translation of the settlement in plain English, not legalese. Simple sentences. She recorded herself reading them. Where her voice hesitated, she flagged a question and brought it to a professional. She watched for bridge language copied into the final map. Temporary orders are for a season. Final orders need steel. Starting on the 1st, this amount from this account with this backup plan. Her rewrite named amounts, dates, accounts, and due-by triggers. It added a review date 6 months out. Slow is strategy. If you can't picture the bill, don't sign the promise. Picture the calendar and the debit. Picture who takes the call when the company asks for a voice code. Write for the Tuesday tired version of you. Protect that person.
Here's a rule you can feel in your body. If you can't picture the bill, don't sign the promise. Close your eyes and run the month like a short film. The 1st hits. A draft leaves checking. The 7th brings an insurance auto-pay. The 15th, a daycare invoice. The 20th is the card due date. Property tax shows up in the quarter you always forget. Where does the money come from? Who clicks submit? If you can't see the hand pressing the button, the plan is not ready. Ava learned to run that film for every line. She wrote tiny stage directions from joint account ending 1442 on the 1st, paid by online bill pay, reminder set 2 days before, backup payer if account is short. That sounds fussy. It is the cheapest sentence you will ever write. She also made a no surprises list. Premiums renew, leases end, school calendars flip. She wrote renewal months beside each item and added them to a shared calendar. When something must be renegotiated, the calendar whispers long before the invoice shouts. Ava did a read-back call. 10 minutes. She read the settlement in plain English while a friend listened. She wasn't asking for legal advice, she was testing clarity. If the friend could repeat the plan from memory, it passed. If the friend said, "Wait, who pays if overtime stops?" the plan needed another sentence. She started spotting red flag words: reasonable, later, as needed, if applicable, fair share. Those words start arguments because they depend on mood and memory. She replaced them with numbers, dates, and named humans. Who pays? How much? From which account? By which method? What happens if income changes? Who emails the provider? When the check is considered late? Where to send proof? She wrote a one-page summary that lived on the fridge. Top half, money plan. Bottom half, people plan. Money plan listed drafts and amounts. People plan listed how to communicate, when to check in, and which app to use for requests. Yes, a fridge sheet saved money. It stopped, "I thought you had it," before it started. Most important, Ava gave herself permission to pause. She told the clerk, "I need to review this tonight and sleep on it." No apology, just a calm plan. A good decision survives the night. Expensive decisions insist on daylight. If you need language for that pause, borrow Ava's email. "Thank you for preparing the draft. I'm doing a plain English read and a calendar check tonight. I'll send any clarifying edits by 3 p.m. tomorrow. Please pause signatures until then." She attached proof where possible: a daycare draft screenshot, a PDF of the health plan renewal page, a note from the lender showing the joint loan payoff amount. Attachments end arguments. Ava's last step in mistake 1 was simple. She added a review clause. 30 days after signing, a 10-minute check-in to confirm transfers happened, drafts are correct, and login access works. Preventing one late fee usually pays for the coffee on that call.
Mistake number 2. Ignoring taxes and retirement rules. Ava's draft said, "Split the retirement." It sounded clean, like cutting a cake. Retirement is not cake. It is a maze with rules on the walls. Some plans require a special court order to move funds without penalties. Some ask for exact wording, like a password. Some need the account number written in a specific box. Transfers done the wrong way can trigger taxes neither party expected. One missing sentence can be expensive. Ava had a 401k. Her ex had a pension and stock options from a tech job. The draft didn't mention plan names, valuation dates, or how to treat unvested shares. It didn't say who would pay for the special order or what happens if the market swings before the transfer. It didn't name which company receives which document. Missing details turn into real dollars. Stock options and RSUs look like alphabet soup when you're tired. Vested shares are today's money. Unvested shares are a maybe with rules. Some companies accelerate vesting. Others cancel unvested portions. If you don't write the rule into the plan, the rule will surprise you later. Then there's the tax return. Filing status the year the divorce finalizes. Who claims the child? How credits shift. Whether support affects taxes under current law. These are not afterthoughts. They are the difference between breathing room and a surprise bill in April. Ava drew 2 columns on a page. Column A, what the draft assumed. Column B, what the plan actually requires. Under the 401k, she wrote, needs special order, transfer method, receiving account details. Under pension, she wrote, how calculated, survivor benefits, date used for value. Under stock, she wrote, vested versus unvested, taxes on release, future grants. Under taxes, she wrote, filing status this year, child credits, who keeps receipts. Seeing the list ended the myth that the draft would magically handle itself. She booked a short meeting with a calm financial planner who spoke human. They did not hunt for loopholes, they hunted for clarity. They made a timeline. Step 1, open a receiving IRA for the transfer. Step 2, draft the special order with the plan's exact name. Step 3, confirm the address where documents must be mailed or uploaded. They wrote real contact names at each company. They also wrote sample plain English lines for the settlement. The 401k at Company X will be divided using a court order. The receiving account is Ava's IRA at Bank Y. If the market moves more than 5% before the transfer, the parties will adjust proportionally. Restricted stock will be split on release. Taxes will be withheld per company policy. Within 7 days of release, the holder will transfer the agreed net portion to the other party. Those lines look boring, but they save thousands.
Ava slowed down and brought in a calm voice, a planner who had seen dozens of cases. They created a plain English map for the retirement split. It named each plan, the method for division, and the steps for a penalty-free move. It included who would request the paperwork and by when. They wrote a timeline in the margin, like a recipe you can follow when you're sleepy. For stock options and RSUs, they listed what is vested, what is not, and how future grants are treated. They wrote how to handle taxes when shares release and how to move the agreed portion within a week. They agreed to exchange screenshots of confirmations, not just promises. Screenshots end confusion. For taxes, they ran 2 sample returns using last year's numbers. Not perfect, useful. They compared take-home under 2 filing statuses. They checked who could claim credits and how to split costs that created those credits. They penciled a rule. If a credit depends on paying a bill, like childcare, then the person claiming it fronts that bill or settles monthly. Ava learned a new phrase for workplace plans that move retirement safely. She didn't need to be an expert. She just needed the plan's rules and the right names on the right lines. She called the plan administrator and asked for their packet. The packet had a sample, a mailing address, and a phone number. She wrote the case number on the top and saved the name of the person who answered.
Real names make follow-ups easy. She opened the receiving account before any transfer to avoid an accidental deposit into checking. She wrote the new account number on a sticky note and taped it to the packet until the transfer finished. She told her future self, "Do this once and do it right." They built a small binder. Front pocket, one-page summary. Tabs, retirement, stock, tax, confirmations. Old-school beats, hunting through email at midnight. They added a proof policy. If a step costs real money, they would exchange proof when it was done. A transfer screenshot, a receipt email, a PDF of the executed document. Proof is not mistrust. It helps memory in a busy life. When a small hiccup appeared, a missing signature line, Ava didn't panic. The binder told her who to call. The name on the note answered. The fix took 9 minutes. 9 minutes beats 9 months of guessing later. In the end, the topic that once felt like fog became a checklist Ava could run half asleep. That is the point of clarity. Not perfection, just steps you can repeat when you're tired.
Mistake number 3. Fighting for the house you can't afford. The home holds memories. Bedrooms painted on weekends, a height chart on the pantry door. It feels like stability, especially for a child. But a house is a bundle of costs wearing a cozy sweater. Mortgage, insurance, property taxes, utilities, maintenance, repairs that never consult your calendar. Ava wanted to keep the house so her child could stay in the same school. On paper, she could cover the payment. The numbers left almost no cushion. Then the water heater failed. The roof inspection flagged a soon repair. Gas prices rose. Groceries did their slow climb. The budget that looked balanced at midnight broke by noon. Keeping a house is not just the payment. It is time off work for the plumber. It is the deductibles and the replacement you didn't plan for. It is higher utilities when winter stays late. It is lawn tools you used to share. It is a driveway that needs sealing and a fence that wobbles after a storm. Instead of clinging, Ava ran 2 budgets, keep and sell. Keep included true costs, a yearly repair line, and a real emergency fund. Sell included moving costs, deposits, and a smaller rental closer to work and school. She put commute on the page too. Miles matter. Minutes matter. Less time driving is more time resting. She also ran 2 emotional budgets. What will this choice feel like on a hard Tuesday? Will the house feel like a blessing or a bill with windows? Will the smaller place feel like loss or like a chance to reset? She talked with her child in age-appropriate terms about routines, not square footage. Kids bank calm more than they bank space. The keep budget left Ava stressed and brittle. The sell budget gave her breathing room, a short commute, and a pool at the apartment her kid loved. The memory wall could be measured and transferred to a new pantry. She learned how buyouts really work. A buyout is not just I keep the house. It is I refinance into my name at today's rate, pay closing costs, and pay the other party their share of equity after subtracting realistic selling costs. She asked a lender to run numbers at 3 interest rates. That page changed her mind. She also asked for the property tax history. A reassessment can nudge the payment upward months after you sign. She checked the HOA dues and the month they jump. Small fees have timing. Someone suggested a line of credit for repairs. Ava wrote out the payment and asked, "In 12 months, will this still feel okay?" Borrowing for fixes can make a livable house, but it can also make a second bill you don't need. Liquidity beats pride when you are rebuilding. She chose cash flow over curb appeal. She sold with intention, planned the move between semesters, and set aside a small reserve from the proceeds. She took photos of the height chart and drew the same marks on the new pantry door.
Stability followed her because she carried it in her routines, not in the roof above her head.
Mistake number 4. Letting emotions drive the process. Pain loves microphones. In divorce, the microphone can be a courtroom, and court time is expensive. Ava and her ex started arguing through filings. Each motion cost money and delivered very little change. Anger can be smart for 5 seconds and expensive for 5 months. A mediator shifted the room. One table, ground rules, short turns to speak, a whiteboard for decisions. They listed the fights that felt huge and sorted them into 2 columns: affects the child or the budget, and venting. The venting list went to private support, not the legal team. The other list got facts, numbers, and deadlines. They set guidelines: no arguing at pickup, no surprise requests at bedtime. Use the shared app for logistics. 1 weekly check-in by message, limited to 10 lines. If a message thread got long, they paused and moved the decision to the next check-in. Structure is not cold. It is kindness for the future you. Ava practiced new sentences. Let me check the calendar and get back to you tomorrow by noon. That doesn't work for me. Here are 2 options. I'm not available for blame. I am available for solutions. Scripts like these are scaffolding. They hold up calmer choices until calm becomes a habit. They compared costs on a whiteboard. Mediation hour versus 2 attorneys writing letters. The math did not pick sides. It picked method. A single afternoon in the calmer room replaced 3 angry weeks. Sometimes they still needed formal steps, but they used them with intention, not as a vent. Ava discovered the quiet power of documentation. When a request came in, she logged it in the app. When they agreed, she summarized it in 1 sentence. When it involved money, she attached a screenshot. Documentation is not drama. It is the opposite. It sets everyone free to remember less and trust more. They added a timeout rule. If a message felt hot, they waited 1 hour before answering unless it involved health or safety. They created a decision ladder. Try a quick call, then app messages, then mediation, and then a formal filing. The ladder kept problems small. They also quit forwarding heated texts to their lawyers. Instead, they saved the thread in the app and wrote a calm summary. On May 4th, we agreed to swap weekends, confirming the pickup at 5 p.m. Facts first, feelings later with support, not the billing clock. The parenting calendar got built-in flexibility. 2 swaps per semester without drama. Requests needed 48 hours of notice unless it was an emergency. Declines included 1 short reason and an alternative. Ava kept a small card in her wallet called the Yes Sandwich. Yes to the shared goal, no to a bad plan, yes to a better option. Example: yes, I want our kid rested for the test. No, a 10 p.m. return won't work. Yes, I can do 7:30 with a quick handoff. It wasn't perfect, and better, repeated, pays dividends.
Mistake number 5, forgetting the after checklist. The day papers assigned is not the day the work ends. It's the day the to-do list starts. Ava made a quiet cup of coffee and opened her notebook. She wrote the things no one had told her to do. Update beneficiaries on retirement and life insurance. Remove joint users from credit and apps. Change passwords and mailing addresses. Update emergency contacts at school and work. Retitle the car if needed. Separate phone plans. Close unused joint accounts. Set up new checking and a small emergency fund. Review health coverage dates. Create a written budget with categories that match the new life. She made 2 columns again, online and in person. Online tasks got a one-line script she could paste. Hi, I'm updating account ownership and contact info after a change in marital status. Here are the details. In-person tasks got a folder with printed copies and a clean sticky note that said what to ask. Ava put stars by two items people skip: beneficiaries and credit. If you don't update beneficiaries, old names can follow money in ways you never intended. If you don't separate credit, an old card can surprise you with a charge you didn't make. She ordered her free credit reports and froze her credit for a month while things moved. Freeze is not forever. It is a pause that keeps strangers from opening new lines in your name while mail is in motion. She checked titles: the car, the storage unit, the tiny boat her ex kept at a friend's lake. She made sure insurance matched reality: auto, home, or renters, life, and the little policies you forget you have. Outdated policies tell the wrong story on the worst day. Fix the story now. Finally, she printed a one-page budget and taped it inside a cupboard door. It wasn't fancy. It put guardrails on the first 3 months while her brain adjusted. Guardrails don't limit freedom. They prevent expensive detours while you find your balance. She updated the quiet places where life hides: direct deposit, withholding, and the emergency contact on her HR profile, DMV address and voter registration. She cleaned old addresses out of shopping sites. She offboarded shared tech and turned on 2FA, shared photo albums, streaming, smart speakers. At school, she refreshed pickup permissions. She added the co-parenting schedule to the school app. For activities with autopay, she updated the card and email. Missed drafts turn into awkward conversations. She wrote a tiny pet plan: food brand, vet info, annual shots, whose turn to buy the next bag. Last, she made a safe place for important papers: a flat folder with copies of the settlement, summaries, account numbers, and the new budget. It lived where she could reach it in 1 minute, and a trusted friend knew where. When life is loud, reach matters. When the checklist ended, Ava did something easy to skip. She celebrated with a sunset walk and a favorite sandwich. She texted a friend, did the list, breathing again.
Ava didn't get a movie ending. She got something better, a plan that worked. She sold the house on a timeline that respected her child's semester and her own energy. She moved 10 minutes from the hospital. Her commute dropped. Her sleep improved. The budget finally had quiet corners where leftover dollars could sit without fear. She rewrote the settlement with specifics. It named the bills, the dates, the accounts, and the backup plan. It included the steps for the retirement transfer, the stock release rules, and a simple proof policy. It set a check-in 30 days later. When that day came, they confirmed the drafts, fixed a small typo, and moved on. The binder worked, the app worked. The yes sandwich softened sharp moments. Life did not become easy. It became legible. Legible is a superpower when you are tired. Ava also started talking to money like it was a teammate. She gave dollars jobs. This one pays rent. This one feeds the car. This one builds the emergency cushion. She named the next 3 months the stabilize season. That name changed how she made choices. If you like timelines, here was hers. Week 1, pause. List every account and bill. Ask for plain English translation. Week 2, run budgets for keep versus sell. Request plan packets for retirement. Open receiving account. Week 3, meet mediator. Create communications rules. Draft settlement edits with specifics. Week 4, sign after sleeping on it. Start the after checklist. Schedule the 30-day review. Day 30, confirm transfers and drafts, fix access, and celebrate with takeout and an early bedtime. Here's the recap of the 5 big cost traps, told in 1 sentence each. Rushing the signature turns blanks into bills. Ignoring taxes and retirement rules makes avoidable penalties. Clinging to an unaffordable house trades memories for monthly stress. Letting emotions choose the venue shreds cash without changing outcomes. Forgetting the after checklist leaves doors open you meant to lock. See these coming, and you keep thousands where they belong, funding a calmer life you can recognize. Common worries, answered quickly. I want stability for my kid. Stability is routines and rested parents more than square footage. Write the routine first. Mediation won't work for us. Try one structured session with ground rules. If it truly fails, you still leave with clearer lists. I don't understand taxes. You don't have to. You need a page that compares two paths in dollars you can see. I'm embarrassed to ask simple questions. Ask anyway. Expensive silence is worse than a 5-minute explanation. Ava's last note to herself said, "No trophies for doing this alone." She built a tiny team, a mediator, a planner, a friend who listened without adding gasoline. Team small, clear roles, fast check-ins. That structure saved her hours and her nerves.
How do you avoid these mistakes before you sign? Use this calm 10-step plan. Mistake number 1. Name the goal. A stable next chapter. Say it out loud. Decisions will follow that aim. Mistake number 2. Build a one-page map in plain English. List every account, debt, bill, and asset. Add logins and renewal months. Mistake number 3. Put numbers on a calendar. Who pays what? How much? By which date? Add a backup payer and what happens if income changes. Mistake number 4. For retirement and stocks, write the plan names, dates, methods, who does each step, and where proof lives. Ask the plan for its packet before you sign. Mistake number 5. Run 2 budgets for housing. Keep versus sell. Include honest maintenance in a real emergency fund. Count commute minutes. Mistake number 6. Choose your room. Try mediation or a collaborative process before you escalate. Use a decision ladder. Mistake number 7. Create a communication plan. Use a shared app. Set weekly check-ins. Add a timeout rule for hot topics. Mistake number 8. Draft the after checklist now. Beneficiaries, accounts, passwords, insurance, titles, school forms. Put the folder where you can reach it in a minute. Mistake number 9. Get a calm review from a professional in your state. Ask for a translation, not jargon. Make sure you understand it when tired. Mistake number 10. Sleep on it. A good decision survives the night. If you want a script for the first 20 seconds of calm, here it is. I'm grateful for the draft. I need to read it in plain English, run it against my calendar, and compare housing budgets. I'll send clear edits by tomorrow. If something isn't specific, let's add the number and the date. What would you do if a pen hovered over your future? Breathe. Read it out loud. Ask questions. Choose the plan that makes life quieter a month from now, not just tonight. Quiet does not mean perfect. It means solvable. This is education, not legal or tax advice. For specifics, talk with licensed professionals where you live. If this helped, save it and share it with someone who needs a calmer map. You're not alone. You have options, and you don't have to sign until you know these.